Is this mic on? Cool. Well, I'm Doug Coombs, Director of Client Solutions with Workerbee TV, also known as Association TV, which is trademark services that we do. Greg can't be here. He's in Canada. I'm not seeing enough of my partners in here, so please come say hi. I am from Canada, so I am the safest person in the world. I had to go through lots of tests and all that stuff, so like even if you get within 6 feet, I'll probably vaccinate you. So that is not approved by the CDC. I took my notes on my phone as well, so Terry, my grandma once made cookies with salt instead of sugar, and I loved her so much I didn't tell her. So you sparked that memory, which is nice, so thank you. You guys are really good looking. Like I'm used to seeing a blue dot when I'm doing these for .org community, so you are much better looking than that blue webcam dot that I see. So although there is a blue dot back there. And I'm going to talk a tiny bit about who I am, and I've only been in the association space for 2 years now. On this side of the game, I was a member for 10 years of 3 different associations as subject matter expert and sponsor. And I would always go to them. So it was the Building Owners Managers Association, Construction Association, and the Professional Property Managers Association, all up in Canada. But I would always say, how can we get value? How can you get me in front of that target audience with our product, authenticated, that third-party validation, that it's a proof message from you? Because associations, like Terry was saying, they have the audience, they have the eyes, the retargeting, that's genius. And I was talking with a client of mine over here, ACOFP, about their retargeting campaign, and it's just really interesting to me. So I don't bite. Really low-hanging fruit to talk with me is sports, music, obviously video and stuff, but I wanted to thank Kevin, Sherry, Vea. Kevin and Sherry particularly, because in 2 years I've read their books, and it's really given me an insight to how association professionals like yourselves think, how the sponsors think, and I'm a salesperson. There's no question about that. And I live by the ABCs for myself and the clients, but it's not always be closing. It's always be creating value for your clients. So being in sales, you've got to justify your salary. Being in sales in the association space, we're not creating clients, we're creating partnerships, and we have to justify our presence. And that's through creating non-dues revenue with video and multimedia. And I'm really passionate about it, and I get really involved with it. And so I had more notes on what I wanted to talk about, but I think I'm running out of time. So we get the video played. Who in here is familiar with our Solution Center and .org's Community Solution Center? A raise of hands, please. I know more of you know. There we go. Okay, so anyway, it's a platform that we run, and it's solely designed to create value. And we've interviewed a client of ours, Greg Guenther, who, yes, Canada's beach volleyball team. He'll talk about that. We brought him in the studio, and I interviewed him about his experience, because I can tell you how neat our stuff is all day long. It's way more impactful when it comes from a client with a specific use case. So please come say hi to me. My name's Doug. If there's time for questions later. But yeah, like I said, I'm super safe to come say hi to you. So, and at the end, there's going to be a barcode. We just released a book on how to create a video. It's 30 pages, and it's got every single thing you can imagine that we think on how to create a video. So please download that ebook and come say hi. So if you can hit play or... Oh. Cool.
The whole world was experiencing the pain of having to move. The whole world was experiencing the pain of having to move to a different format. We have an opportunity now to open up the world to our members. And this was all new territory to us. I mean, really a massive, massive learning curve. All my friends kind of shake their head. You're what? You're doing what? My background predominantly is I worked in amateur sports since 1989. I had a little hiatus where I was timber framing, so a little unusual turn in my career, but it was a good 4 or 5 years of building homes because I had that background from my university days of framing houses and that kind of thing. But mostly I worked in volleyball. As my career progressed, I moved into some administrative roles, high performance manager for sport at Sport Manitoba. I've worked some games, Western Canada Games, Canada Games, been part of an Olympic team for Volleyball Canada for our beach programs. So many years in sport, and with that, working with boards, working with provincial sport bodies. I got a call one day from Rafi Mohammed, our CEO. He called me with this opportunity and he said, Greg, you know what, I think you have some of the skill set we need for this job. I said, I appreciate the call, but I just kind of figured I'd stay in sport forever. After that, Rafi called me back and said, well, you know, I think I'd like you to meet with a couple of people, and my dentist was the past president, so I went to meet with my dentist, and another dentist, Dr. Scott Leckie, sat on the Sport Medicine and Science Council board with me. He said, you know, I think this will be a great opportunity for you. I mean, how often do you get a chance to make a change? I said, all right, I'll give it a go. My job with the Dental Association is membership services. I look after the convention. I work with continuing education programming. I work with General Practice Study Club, which offers continuing education opportunities to young practitioners. Not all that different from working with young coaches. And so there's a lot of similarities, and event planning is event planning. The whole world was experiencing the pain of having to move to a different format. And this was all new territory to us. I mean, really a massive, massive learning curve. But we also viewed it as an opportunity. We took that opportunity to say, all right, well, normally, you know, we're just in Canada. We might get some traction out of the US. We might bring in some international speakers. But we have an opportunity now to open up the world to our members, but also to other delegates from across Canada, and even start to work with some of our neighbors to the south, the American Dental Association. So we really looked at it as an opportunity to expand what we were doing, and also look for trade show exhibitors beyond just Canada. I think we did quite well with the US, getting good traction with companies out of the US. We hope to go bigger and broader, you know, even into Europe. We did make some efforts. We did succeed in getting a dental supplier out of India, which was phenomenal. And it really allowed us to move with this model of what we called the Global Dental Exchange, and to keep it alive year-round. The idea is that when you took a booth in the Global Dental Exchange, it gave you the opportunity to build that site, and the powering of the opportunity that we had through the way the site was designed was very engaging. So lots of opportunity to build in video, product sampling, book meetings, all sorts of features. We were very successful, especially given the hesitancy we sensed at the beginning. So we had 65 to 68 booths because we really wanted to expand the number of speakers, and we wanted a very healthy number of presentations available to delegates. Working with trade show participants, we were able to do an exchange. You bring us a speaker, you get a booth. It was cost effective for us to offer the booth, and extremely cost effective because we weren't having to absorb the cost of the speaker. Especially in a virtual world, there's no travel, there's no hotel, etc., right? For us to activate one booth, it was a cost of $300. For us to activate one of the top speakers from New York virtually was $5,000. So we're ahead $4,700. And we know from what we've learned, if we're forced to go 100% virtual again, we've learned a great deal, and we know how we can make it even more successful financially. We had no problem getting platinum, gold, silver, and bronze sponsors. They were offered very good exposure through our Splash promotional page. They were offered great exposure through the conference site. I would say it evolved as our understanding of the potential we had grew. So we had a standard platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. Platinum started at $75,000. Gold was 50, then 30, then 25, and 10. And those were all sold. And that was not a problem at all selling those. If you bought into the top 4 tiers, you got a great deal of coverage on the site. You got additional marketing and promotions that we offered through a variety of means, whether it was through our bulletin, whether it's through electronic communication, certainly very high profile within the Global Dental Exchange and within the conference site itself. We wanted to be able to expand some categories beyond that. One thing was couponing, daily couponing. So a company could buy a coupon and those coupons would be promoted at the top of every day's schedule, and we would also promote through our e-blasts that went out. So click here to see today's coupons. Those offerings were a simple button offered by a company. It could be a discount for that day. It could be promotion of a specific product. It could be anything that company wanted to do with it. That was quite good. And it was more affordable for smaller companies versus something like a $75,000 commitment. The other thing we offered was e-blasts. So the daily e-blasts were, again, a promotion by that company, something about that company, whatever message they wanted to get across to delegates. That would go out in our daily e-blast. And again, the daily e-blast was also positioned on the website at the top of the schedule. So if you weren't opening the e-blast in your email, when you go to the conference site, you would see the daily e-blast. So it was always visible to delegates. Those worked really well. And there are small things that you can do. The other thing, again, virtual, what we lost was that human interaction component. And we were looking for unique ways of doing that. Our platinum level sponsor offered a wine tasting and food pairing evening that was done virtually. We also did a comedy night. We worked with a local comedy club and we had 3 comedians present one evening. And again, delegates could purchase a ticket to take part in the Zoom comedy night. You just have to really be open to very unique opportunities, and that was another thing that was great. Worker Bee was able to come to us to say, well, you know, we're working with another client, and here's a concept they were trying. And then I would also encourage you to go within your own industry and go look at what everybody else is doing. We wanted to look at overall engagement. And that included our social media channels, that included website visits, that included our weekly updates, our e-blasts that we sent out on a daily basis during the conference, and of course, engagement with attendance at live presentations and also on demand. So we've been able to develop a pretty comprehensive report and see where the traffic flow is, where it's coming from. And the other part of that report is that it helps our current committee that's planning for 2022 to see where the interest lies with the delegates that are watching presentations. Is it a specific specialty within the profession, a topic area that is most interesting to delegates? Is it wellness programming? Because COVID's been a tough time for a lot of people, right? And tough on employers, tough on staff, tough on families. And so, you know, we had some presentations around mental health and resiliency. That was the second most watched presentation as an on-demand lecture. So pretty surprising. It's not always just about the profession. Sometimes it's about other things that affect people living and working in the profession. That's been one benefit of our final report. Social media is upon us in a big way, right? And we're can easily become obsessed with it, but we were able to use that in a very large way to promote speakers, promote sponsors. We're new to social media, and when I say new, probably using it more regularly in the last 2 years. We're seeing continual growth in terms of suppliers, delegates, members that are following us on social media. And so it's another avenue that we can promote the Global Dental Exchange, promote upcoming conferences, continuing education programming that we're offering throughout the year. And we can't say enough about that piece. One of the key components was ease of use, the options built within the Global Dental Exchange to our exhibitors. So we felt, bar none, it provided the best platform for service providers and suppliers to promote their product, unlimited product promotion, the ability to book a meeting or even have trade show staff person could be in a Zoom room waiting where people could just enter and meet with their sales reps. So it appeared to us that it provided the best ease of use and the best ease of navigation to the user of the site. And that's critical. We have a pretty broad spectrum of tech-wise members, right? We have some that are incredibly tech-savvy, and we have others that really need to see the big button and where to go, right? The other part was the ease of building the site for the company that was purchasing the site. And so there were a couple of components that went with that. Worker BTV had tech support available to the companies. So when they had questions, when they were stumbling on building their site, they had easy access. And we also hired a part-time person that was very strong with technology. And Ian learned the site inside out with the support of Worker B staff. It was very manageable. And that was key. So good for our delegates and good for the companies that were using the site. We asked ourselves that question, how do we use this? Because absolutely companies prefer in person. You know, they're hand-to-hand, face-to-face. It's a tactile experience for dentists when they go through an exhibit. But we also know that there's a lot of value for ongoing access to the most recent information about product lines, services, etc., to the profession. While we're going back to an in-person format with a live trade show, we are continuing to offer the Global Dental Exchange platform to all exhibitors. So it's an additional tool. And again, the beauty of that is it's a tool that's accessible year-round, whereas the trade show component, the face-to-face, takes place over 2 days. So it gets to be a living, breathing site that they can continue to use. We promote that to our members in every single communication that goes out, so that we're constantly trying to drive traffic to our service providers. We've fully realized that continuing education online is never going away. Like many professions, dentists are very busy, dental assistants are busy, hygienists, they put in long days. And sometimes accessing continuing education or really top-level presenters is not always affordable or easy because of the travel involved, etc. So now we can continue to offer those learning opportunities online. And of course, we link it back to the Global Dental Exchange.
And Greg is available for questions. He's on a holiday right now, but if you guys have questions for him, go through Kevin or come see me and let us know. And so that solutioncenter.org has their own. So if you're a sponsor of theirs, you'd have some experience on that back end ease of use, but everything, it's always designed and developed in our client's brand. And for the hundreds of thousands of dollars they raised using it, their initial investment was $4,500. So there's some value there. So if you want to see how to create video, since we're both video production and web development company, scan that barcode. We're really proud of this book. We've been working on it for a long time, and I encourage you to come say hi. I think that's it. I'm over time, so thank you.